champions, Format versus 9-time road match champion and current road match winner, Grandmasters. Saturday, November 25th from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Airport Bypass Road. Participate, get in the mix at the Early Bird Juve for Sugar Mass 46.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We thank you for joining us this evening, and this is the perfect opportunity for you to call a friend, phone a friend, message a friend, email a friend, and tell them, turn your televisions on to ZIZ Channel 5. And I do want to inform you that we are also live online, so if you don't have cable, ZIZonline.com is the perfect place for you to participate in this evening's discussion. We are here with the 2017 National Carnival Queen Ambassadors for this year's competition, and they are here to take their pageant hats off for a few hours and educate and inform and discuss their various chosen platforms for this year. Now, I will dive straight into this evening's proceedings, and I will say good night, ladies.
Good evening.
All right. So I will begin with Ambassador number 1, and I'll have her introduce herself to you and tell us a little about yourself, Connie.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ambassador number 1, Miss St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla, National Bank, Cornelia Daniel, better known as Connie. I am the last of 3 children for my mother and 7 for my father. And everyone knows me to be a dancer. And that is basically it for myself.
All right. And we move on to Miss Zonique Brown.
Good evening to everyone tuned in. My name is Zonique Brown, proud ambassador number 2, Miss Carrie Brewery. I am an educator in the teaching profession, and I love to sing.
All right. And we move on to number 3, Miss Diaz.
Good evening, everyone. I am Miss Teresa Tichel Diaz, and I am proudly sponsored by the Development Bank of St. Kitts Nevis. And I think by now everyone knows that I am very into the agriculture.
Okay. And we move on to Ambassador number 4. Good evening.
Good evening to my viewing audience. I am your Ambassador number 4, Miss Sarafina Osborne, generously sponsored by the Big Cane Rum. I hail from the great state of St. Peters, and I am a very passionate person, very family-oriented, and I'll tell you a little secret. I can actually wiggle my ears.
And we move on to number 5.
Good evening, everyone. I am your ambassador, number 5, Ms. Shaniqua Lands, proudly sponsored by the St. Christopher and Seaport Authority. I am excited to share with you guys tonight about my platform, as well as hearing more about my fellow contestants' platform as well.
All right. And we move on to number 6. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, TV Land. My name is Belisha McDonald, Ambassador number 6, proudly sponsored by the Bank of Nova Scotia, of where I am also employed. I am the 5th of 9 children on my mother's side. Yes, wow, yes. Hi, Mommy. And I am truly excited and happy to be here.
All right. Well, with that, folks, you have now a little information on these beautiful Queen Ambassadors for this year, and we will take a short break, and when we come back on the other side, we will dive right into the meat of the matter, which is their platforms. We'll be right back.
Right now, no. Yeah, this is your boy Desro inviting you to the Sunset Silver Cruise when on Friday the 24th of November. It's amazing how I feel. I'm indestructible and soca playing in the sheets. I'm a river, follow me. Carnival never be the same. I come here to fit up and guitar. No kind of behavior. One shot of the I see.
Right now and so, Barry C, bring your bumper. Make sure you bring your bumper on the 24th of November. We're going on the Soca Cruise, and we're going to be having a blast. Oh.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, we are here with the 2017 St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival Queen Ambassadors, and tonight they are wearing two crowns. They are beautiful young women and they are queen contestants, ambassadors rather, but tonight they are here to educate, inform and discuss, and of course receive feedback from you, the general public, about their various chosen platforms. Now tonight we'll start with Ambassador number 1, and I'll ask her to briefly tell me about your platform, what and why you've chosen this platform.
So my platform is promoting Afro-Caribbean culture through dance education. This simply means educating the learner about the several aspects of Afro-Caribbean culture, which include the social, religious, political, artistic and culinary elements introduced by our African forefathers through dance making, dance appreciation, and dance generally.
Okay, so it's more than walking up.
It is definitely more than walking up, yes.
Okay, so we'll move on to Ambassador number 2, Ms. Zonique Brown. Now, what is your platform and why have you chosen this platform?
Okay, my platform is promoting cultural diversity. And when one speaks of cultural diversity, it simply refers to the representation of persons of different backgrounds, such as races, social status, and even sexual orientation. Now, I chose this platform because I believe in unity. I'm a strong advocate for inclusion, so therefore I believe that if we are all united, we can all come together and build a strong society.
All right. And we move on to Ambassador number 3, Ms. Teresa. I think I should just stick to Tichelle. And Ms. Teresa, tell me about your platform and why did you choose that platform?
Well, my platform is very dear to me. It is youth empowerment through agriculture. And I basically would have to explain it by breaking down the two keywords in that, which is youth empowerment. I believe that we as young people need to be the driving force in our lives. And one of the aspects or one of the way that we can empower ourselves is through agriculture, because agriculture is an untapped sector. So it's always best for you to go in a market that is not competitive. You would strive much better. So that is why I choose my platform, Youth Empowerment through Agriculture.
Thank you very much. And we move on to Ambassador number 4, Ms. Sarafina Osborne. Tell me, what is your platform, and well, tell the viewers and the listeners rather, what is your platform and why you have chosen it?
So my platform is using the family as a viable tool to reduce crime. And I chose this platform because my family means the world to me. I undeniably attribute my success and my development to my family's hard work, love, and care. It is because of the values that I learned within the home I'm able to reflect on these values when faced with difficult life decisions. It is also because of the affection that I'd received within the home I'm able to make meaningful connections with others in society. And so when you listen to some of the criminal activity that is occurring, we have to ask ourselves, are these same values still being taught in our homes? Are our children being loved enough so that they can make meaningful connections with others? I truly believe that once we strengthen the family and create stronger individuals, we will be able to prevent crime and, by extension, reduce crime.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Osborne. And we move on to Ambassador number 5, Ms. Shaniqua Lands. Now, Shaniqua, tell me, what is your platform and why you would have chosen this?
Okay, so my platform is COINS. COINS simply means Children of Incarcerated Parents, Nationals. For those who do not know what incarcerated means, in simple terms, it's the imprisonment of a person. My platform personally resonates with me. My mother, she's the caregiver of 2 little girls ages 2 and 3 whose father is incarcerated and who will be incarcerated for a number of years, unfortunately. And it saddens me that these 2 girls would be deprived of growing up within their father's physical presence. Personally, I have a great relationship with my father, so I cannot imagine what life would be growing up without him. As a result, I decided to utilize my platform to create greater awareness of the needs of these children, as well as to encourage persons in society to help these children, help them become one less statistic so that they can become more productive citizens as they grow and become adults. Thank you.
All right, and last but definitely not least, we go to Miss Belissa McDonald. Now, Belissa, tell me, what is your platform and why you decided to choose that platform?
Okay, so Purple, my platform is the awareness of suicide prevention. This is something that is definitely dear to me, and I know many may say that it is not something that is a regular occurrence in our society, but one death by suicide is definitely an important one, and it definitely means a lot. So we should definitely speak about it, as it is a silent epidemic in our society. We don't speak about it, and suicide is considered taboo. So my aim with using this as my platform is to get it out there, get our society speaking about suicide, and also to remove the stigma from suicide.
All right, thank you very much. Ladies, I must say that I'm very impressed with the platforms that you've chosen, and I know that from my obvious interaction with you that you're each very passionate about the platforms that you've chosen. Now, I'm going to go back to you, Connie. Do you mind me calling you that?
Of course not.
All right. So, Connie, in your introduction, you would have spoken about the size of the family that you come from. Now, I want you to tell me how many of your siblings are into the type of dance that you're into.
Absolutely none of my siblings are into the type of dance that I am into.
How many brothers, how many sisters?
I have 2 brothers and 6.
And none of your sisters are into?
Absolutely no rhythm. None.
So then you must be doing something wrong. No?
No.
You try, but they're just not
Lost
getting
cause.
it. Okay. All right. Now, how long have you been involved? And I actually jumped the gun. I do assume, of course, that because this is your platform, that you are involved in this type of dance.
Definitely.
How long have you been dancing?
Generally, I have been dancing since I was about 5.
And how old are you now?
I am 23 years young.
All right, so let's say 18 years. Now, can you remember, in your opinion, has there been a growth, a transition, both in the way that you dance and just generally in your growth as a person because of dance? Like, do you remember what it was like to dance at 5 and what it is now to perform at 23?
Well, dancing at 5 was just for dancing's sake.
She's cute and let's make her dance.
Of course. But dancing now, it is very, very, very dear to me. I have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations growing up, and dance was the only outlet that I had to make me feel comfortable and help me to express myself in the way dance was meant to.
I'm sure all of you would attribute dance to helping you relieve some stress at some point or the other.
Of course.
All right, so Connie, what, in your opinion, is the setback as it relates to the type of dance that you're trying to advocate for in especially in St. Kitts and Nevis at the moment? Do you think there is enough of it?
I honestly believe that there isn't enough awareness of Afro-Caribbean dance. It has been sexually stigmatized, and I believe that once persons remove that mindset that they have of Afro-Caribbean dance, because it involves a lot of pelvic-oriented movements, it often comes across as very sexual. So once persons see it as the historical aspect of our culture, then definitely they would begin to develop a great sense of appreciation.
Right.
African
I'll come back to you because I want to continue this discussion. But I'm going to go on to Miss Zonique Brown. And as a reminder, if you're just tuning in, her platform this evening is promoting cultural diversity, rather. Now, Zonique, in the beginning, you gave a very thorough but precise, and you explained what it means to you. What does promoting cultural diversity means? So I want you to again give me that breakdown and tell me why it is so important that we embrace cultural diversity.
So cultural diversity is the representation of persons of different backgrounds. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we live in a very diverse society. Therefore, it's important that we can all come together, share our ideas, and we can even learn from each other to build a stronger society.
And by diverse, what do you mean? I come from Newtown and Sandy Point, and Belissa comes from Connery, Shaniqua hails from the village, and we all come from different places. But what exactly do you mean by we all come from different backgrounds and places?
Different backgrounds as in different ways of life, because in our black community we have different liberties and religions, such as the Rastafari religion or even Christianity, and also we have persons of the Latin American community, Indians, and even Chinese living here. So it's important that we should all communicate and get along together well, respect each other's differences, and share each other's ideas.
But why is that really important? I mean, I can live with you, but why should I want to respect you? You don't believe what I believe. Why is that important?
It is important that we are able to tolerate each other and respect each other. We must come together, and unity can yield tremendous results. Instead of tearing each other down, we can build each other up.
I'm starting to see the correlation between some of the platforms chosen, because I am definitely seeing the smooth progression. Now I'm going to go over to Miss Teresa Diaz, and as a reminder, her platform is Youth Empowerment Through Agriculture. Now, on the surface, I guess, Teresa, I could imagine or assume what your platform is about, but how do you really hope to incorporate empowering the youth through using agriculture?
Well, basically, I will be looking at the empowering part. We'll be looking at it in a business perspective. So I will look at us youth empowering ourselves business-wise, through agriculture.
Okay, and I do know that, correct me if I'm wrong, especially with your professional side, as you are employed at the Ministry of Agriculture, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm a quarantine assistant.
All right, you go, girl. So I do think from my experience and interviews that there is a booming economy, or as it relates to locals or people in St. Kitts and Nevis making, and you have to help me out with the correct term, making products from our agricultural products. Agro-processing.
Yeah.
Now, are you saying that you think that the youths can be empowered more through the use of agro-processing as it relates to agriculture?
Along with other things, because you can incorporate technology within agriculture. You can incorporate marketing within agriculture. You can also incorporate communication. So there are many aspects that you can look at agriculture as a possibility for a career. You don't just be a farmer. You actually need transportation to carry the stuff to the market. When you have your tamarind, you actually need somebody to go and make the jam for you.
You don't need somebody to go and pick it either?
Yes, all of that. So you can be incorporated within the whole process of agriculture. Agriculture is not just farming.
Okay.
That is how many of our people see agriculture as.
Okay, so you are telling the viewers and the listeners that agriculture, in your opinion, is not just to the mountain with my hoe, and I'm going to make holes in the dirt. You're saying that agriculture has become much more than that.
Yes,
and
it's more diverse.
Right.
There are lots of industries or developing countries that actually lives off of the agriculture sector.
Do you believe, and when you answer this, I'm going to stick a pin, do you believe that in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are where we need to be in terms of youth empowerment through agriculture?
No, because it's very evident that we have an issue with food security. We experienced the passing of the 2 hurricanes within 2 weeks, and we saw our shelves were empty. So it was evident that we are not being sustainable enough in terms of food security. And agriculture is the only way, one of the greatest ways of producing food for our country.
All right. So stick a pin. I'll come right back. And we now move on to Ambassador number 4, Miss Sarafina Osborne, whose platform is using the family as a viable tool to, is it eliminate? Reduce crime. Now, Sarafina, that is a very touchy, as I dare I say, subject. How do you, that sounds like a big job. How do you propose that we use the family as a tool to reduce crime? Isn't the family the cause of the crime?
Everything starts within the home. And so once we receive the requisites that are necessary to will ourselves from devious activity, then we will surely see a safer society. Now, within the family, we are provided with values. The children, they are a product of their parents. Well, let's say some of them are a product of their parents, right? Like you said, it's a ticklish topic.
Right.
And so we have to choose values to instill in our children that we would want to see in the wider society. Okay? Additionally, strong family bonds, that affectionate bond that we receive within the home, I've said this before, will enable us to gain the confidence that we need to will ourselves again away from exploitative relationships and veer towards those relationships that are mutually beneficial. And it would also sensitize our communities. It will give us a sense of togetherness as well.
Continue.
Oh. Also within the family, it is important that we have adequate supervision. Parents should know the whereabouts of their children, as well as monitor their schoolwork and things of that sort. It is when a child is neglected, they tend to, let's see.
Turn to where they're getting the attention.
Right, they tend to turn where they're getting the attention. And they tend to have criminal behavior. They tend to have antisocial behavior. So then they would more so veer towards those persons who are offering that sort of attention that they need. And so once we strengthen the family, we will surely see a difference.
What is your view as it relates to a younger aged parental group, as in the grandmas of today are in their 40s, whereas the grandmas back in the day were grandma age. Do you think that the society, we're becoming younger, as in we're probably reproducing at an earlier age? Do you think that that has something to do with the crime, and because that links you to your family? So if your family is as young as you are, and in a sense we don't have that colloquial grandmother or grandparent who is 50, 60 years, do you think that that has an effect on the way crime is today?
No, not at all. I don't think your age determines whether you'll be a good parent or not. I think that what we need in St. Kitts and Nevis is a parenting training program that will be geared to educate young parents to be on the importance of being able to provide for your children, as well as the importance of being able to distinguish what values to instill in our children.
All right, thank you very much. And we now move on to Ambassador number 5, Miss Shaniqua Lance, and her platform is Coins, Children of Incarcerated Nationals or Parents. And Shaniqua, of course, but just by the name, the sound of your platform, it is also another ticklish, and as I said, very, in my opinion, interrelated with Sarafina's platform. In your opinion, what do you think can be done? That is the basic question. How did we get here, and what do you think can be done?
Okay, when a parent is incarcerated, oftentimes the children are forgotten, and because of this, we would most likely lose a percentage of our children to jail as well. As a result, I think that the government and society should come together and help these children become one less statistic. I would like to stand as an advocate for these children because in the future they will be our leaders, our consumers, our workforce. So I think it is necessary for us to protect these valuable assets and create an environment in which they can develop their minds, their spirit, and their character so that they can become more self-reliant and more productive citizens.
Now, I surmise from what you've just said that majority of the children of incarcerated nationals are underage. Well, hence the term children, but they would be younger. They wouldn't be more in the teenage, but more toddlers.
It could be toddlers,
babies,
adolescents.
very young, yes. And so my question to you is, you said that you don't want them to be forgotten.
Yes.
Do you, in saying that, they would all most likely have a parent left, a mother.
Yeah.
But then the pressure goes on
that parent.
The parent, correct. And so you think that perhaps we need to go back to old-time communities. As you say, you don't want the children to be forgotten. So do you think that the communities, when instances like these happen, the communities need to chip in more and help the parents raise the child?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. For me personally, what I intend to do to help these children, I would like to partner with certain government agencies to seek sponsorship to help solicit some sort of school packages or whether it is food packages to help assist the needs of the remaining parent who has to struggle by themselves because of the fact that the other parent is behind prison.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll come right back to you, but we go over to Ambassador number 6, Ms. Belisha McDonald. And Belisha, your platform is suicide awareness, suicide prevention.
Suicide awareness prevention, yes.
Right. Now, I'm glad that you added on the prevention part because to talk about suicide awareness is one thing. That is just talking about it. But for me, the prevention is much more important to that particular topic. Now, give us a brief education about your platform that you've chosen.
Okay, briefly, one of the things that I came across when I decided that this is going to be my platform, and I have been speaking about it since I started this journey, is that the first thing people would say is that is not something that happens in St. Kitts. During my research, what I found is that between 2009 and 2015, we have had 8 cases of suicide. 8. That's 8 lives that we lost due to someone taking their own lives. What we need to focus on, though, or what we need to realize is that these are people that are among us. And people, they're walking around and they have suicide thoughts, and we don't know, as we would just pass by, and we're not interested in how we are really doing. No, we are living in a society now where how you do is really hello. We don't look back to get an actual answer anymore. So
how you doing on your path?
Yes, that is correct. It's just how you doing and we pass. No one really stops to say, I'm fine, or no one really stops to listen to, I'm fine, or I'm really bad.
Or if you're really not fine, behind the I'm fine.
Yes, and no one really takes the time to listen. So if as a society we can come together and, be more caring. I find our society, we are a bit harsh.
I think you're over here looking at my notes.
Yes, we are a bit harsh, and we tend to just say what we feel and we cast it off as, I'm a blunt speaker. Right. But then we have no regards for how that person actually took what was said, and you don't know what they go home and what they think once they are at home. So if we could be more considerate towards one another, it would definitely help to prevent suicide.
And, based on your topic, and recently, as last week, I recall seeing a series of very saddening videos of a young boy who was from Jamaica, and he ended up committing suicide, unfortunately. And in that video, based on what you just said, he talked about the fact that he was raised by his aunt. And he was speaking about the fact that the video that he did was retroactive. So it was obviously going to be found after the act. And he spoke about how what people say, he took it to heart. Meaning the things that we think are simple, when his aunt would tell him, stupid little boy or dumb little boy, you know, he would, all those condescending words, terms, he would take it to heart. And he said in his own words that he believed those things.
That is true.
And he did not feel the will to live anymore because he felt at school he was being abused. His kids would bully him, and he comes home, there's no love. And he was no more than 13 years, and he could tell us that that is what he's feeling. So in my opinion, that should be a message to us as adults and young people that our words do have
as
effect.
a society as a whole, yes, we need to understand that our words do have an effect, and we have so many depressed people walking around amongst us, and we don't know. We just take it as they're fine, they'll be good.
And she's not nice.
Yes, and then also too, when you do show that you are depressed, society tells you to shake it off. But how can you shake off when, say for instance, most of the times when you are depressed, it comes from stress. And your stress, which releases hormones into your body, and one of those hormones it's called cortisol. That one attacks your brain. All right. So how can you, dear, look at me and tell me shake it off when it's my hormones? It's not that I chose to be down and out. It's my hormones who's telling me that, look, these people, they don't care because now it's controlling my brain, and it's telling me that you don't care about me.
So in your opinion, you think that we definitely need more awareness on how these things can truly affect people, and that it's not something you could just simply shake off?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And that's the thing. If we are more aware as to the causes behind it, then we can definitely have to fix the problem.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in discussion with these 6 beautiful and educated ladies. We've been discussing their platforms that they have chosen as they take part in the 2017 National Carnival Queen Pageant, which will be held on December 28, 2017. And we will take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion.
Silver Cruise when on Friday the 24th of November. It's amazing how I feel. I'm indestructible and soca playing in the sheets. I'm a river, follow me. Carnival never be the same. I come here to fit up and guitar. No kind of behavior. What shot of behavior see?
Right now and so, Barry C, bring your bumper. Make sure you bring your bumper on the 24th of November. We're going on the soca cruise, and we're going to be having a blast. Oh.
Early morning, early bird, early jamming, early backlash, early road match releases, early everything. Who got the best fans? 10-time road match champions, Spotlight. Versus 9-time road match champion and current road match winner, Grand Masters. Saturday, November 25th from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Airport Bypass Road. Participate, get in the mix at the Early Bird Juve for Sugar Mass 46.
Well, it's a girl Foxy, and for this year Sugar Mass, I'm telling you to walk up. Girl, walk up. Boy, walk up. Come walk up with me now. Come join us down at the Soca Cruise, leaving the port 7 p.m. Friday. You can't miss it. I'm going to tell you what, I have something special in store for you. So you know what? You can't miss this. Don't let nobody tell you about it. See you there. And remember, walk up.
Well, you know, it's your boy J Money, gonna be on the Soca Cruise this Friday, the 24th of November. Check it out, don't forget. You got a video, because you're gonna be mad. Soca artist, Genesis band, DJ Terror, the whole entourage gonna be there. Boom! Big Chama say, yeah! Chopper Massive, come signal for me. Hey, Chopper Massive, yeah man, you done this boy Ketty, representing for your boy Alex and Ketty, which gonna be there, right there on the cruise. We're talking about Friday, November the 24th. You can't afford to miss it. Boat leaves 7 p.m. sharp. Talking man like DJ Terror gonna be there, the Genesis band there, and all the soca artists them. Yeah man, the thing I got shot. Make sure you're there, make sure you're square, you don't know. Chopper Massive, may say yeah.
Yeah, we ready, we spawn already.
Get to aboard on the party boat, Prince Davante. For the Soca. For the Soca Sunset Cruise. Friday, 24th November, leaving the Port Zante Marina at 7 o'clock p.m. That's right, $30 admission. Then you get not one, but three free Carib Brewery drinks. Live entertainment by Sugar Mass 46 Soca artists, Genesis Band, and DJ Terror. Don't forget, Friday, 24th November, leaving Port Zante Marina at 7 o'clock p.m. Participate, get in the mix for Sugar Mass 46.
Right now, no. Yeah, this is your boy Desro inviting you to the Sunset Soca Cruise. When? On Friday the 24th of November. It's amazing how I feel. I'm in the shelter and soca playing in the sheets. I'm a river, follow me. Carnival never be the same. I come here to fit up and guitar. No kind of behavior. Watch out to me and I see.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are having a very juicy discussion here with the beautiful ambassadors that will be participating on December 28th for Sugar Mass 46 International Carnival Queen pageant. Now, we're going back to Ambassador number 1, whose platform is promoting Afro-Caribbean culture through dance education. Connie,
yes.
Dance education. What more would you like to see done to advance the cause of Afro-Caribbean culture through dance education?
I would definitely love to see it be implemented into the school's curriculum. While I attended school, I was very disappointed with the fact that dance education wasn't implemented into the history subject area. And I feel as though persons learn differently, and we are often taught using a theoretical method. And if dance education can be implemented, persons can get a different understanding of what it is like to be, you know, in the historical aspect of culture, Afro-Caribbean culture.
And as you would have alluded to, do you think that dance can be used to probably teach our history more rather than just a classroom, read the book, read the chapter type of thing?
Of course, persons tend to associate information with dances, and it often sticks. They tend to retain information easily once a dance is associated with it.
Okay, so you're saying that if I'm having an exam, I need to put it into a dance.
Of course.
Like, put your left hand up if it's answer B. I'm just kidding.
Of course.
But I do understand what you're trying to say, that in your experience, dance education, the Afro-Caribbean dance education has been missing from our curriculum, and that is something you would like to see implemented.
Definitely.
Now, with that being said, do you think that the students of today would gravitate to something like that?
I don't think so, but it is our responsibility to ensure that students need to know the history and the origin of the certain aspects of culture that we see demonstrated in today's society.
I can hear the noise at home. People are saying, yes, yes, it's true. All right, so we move on to Ambassador number 2, Ms. Zonique Brown, and her, as I say, in my opinion, your platforms, I'm now seeing they're linked. And Zonique is cultural diversity, promoting cultural diversity. Now, Zonique, in our small communities, our small population, in my opinion, it is small. What problems do you think we have as it relates to respecting others based on the differences we have? How do you think that we can work together to respect each other, as you say, regardless of our religion? We do know that St. Kitts is very forward as it relates to integration globally. So you see all people from all walks of life, so to speak, residing here on the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. So what, in your opinion, what would you tell the listeners and the viewers? What can they do to be more respectful of others, even if they don't think like you do?
Good evening, everyone. To everyone tuned in, I would advise you to have an open mind about those persons who, of of a foreign country who are living here because we can learn so much from them. For example, let's look at Chinese and Indians. They are quite business-oriented. Instead of looking at them as just competition and as persons who take away from job opportunity, we can look at them to try, we can also emulate them and try to be business persons and entrepreneurs ourselves. We can also try our best to communicate with these types of persons, because I believe that with communication, this can bring forth ideas, and we can also solve different problems present in today's society. So I believe that we can try to communicate with each other. For example, so far I have started advocating my platform as a teacher. I am currently a foreign language teacher. I teach French and Spanish, and we have a large Latin American community. So it will be so much more beneficial if at least everyone in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis can speak one other language. We'll be able to communicate better, and we'll realize that we're not that different after all.
What do you say to persons who say, "Me not learn the language, then they have to learn mine"? What do you say to persons who think that way?
Well, we must also consider the fact that we currently have persons who are, probably have family members who are living abroad. Do you think that it's fair that they are treated, that they would be treated and discriminated against? So we should not have that type of mentality. We should be open-minded. There's globalization taking place, and it's very important that we are acceptant and that we can tolerate and respect each other.
Okay, Sarafina wants to chime in a bit.
Yes, also to mention is that we are in tourism, and so having a second language would be an asset for our citizens as well,
yes,
so that we can communicate with our tourists.
I'm jealous of Miss Brown here, because do you take classes? Would you need some classes from Miss Brown?
I'm willing to help. January.
She's like, not before. Focus. So Zonique, and you did touch on a topic that, a subject rather, that I would have mentioned, which is when we think the way we do as it relates to people coming here to live, and oh, they're taking away this and they're taking away that, we too have to remember that we have, I think there are more Kittitians and Divisions living outside,
yes,
than we have residing here. So we do have to be mindful of that as well.
Yes, we can learn so much from them, so it's important that we are open-minded and willing to accept their differences. We don't necessarily have to accept all of their practices. However, we must tolerate them, because we're all human beings, and that's how it is. They're gonna continue living here, and we just have to unite.
And we're gonna continue migrating. So why not? Okay, now Miss Diaz. Now, when we left, I was asking you if you felt that enough is being done with agriculture to empower the youth, and you would have stopped off when you spoke about the apparent experience we would have had with the passing of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Now, tell me more about what you mean when you say we need better food security. Because I still had my conflicts and stuff, so what exactly do you mean?
Obviously, we're not talking about the processed food. We are talking about the raw materials, the actual tomato, not the tomato paste or the ketchup. But I think our farmers today, they're not sustainable. And I think the only way we can change that is by talking to the persons that are now interested in the field. Because we have to start from, the same as how you would teach a child from it's small, we have to start to put this in the farmer head that you need to be sustainable. Sustainable is the only way to go.
Based on
you have to always have produce on the market. You cannot just pop up today and then don't pop up tomorrow. We need it tomorrow. We don't only need it just for today.
So that's another thing. We need stability.
Yes.
And you feel that if we empower the youths, the youths coming up as they learn from young, that would create some sort of stability and continuation, as it wouldn't just be the older folk as we've grown accustomed to who are doing agriculture. Now, I know you would have mentioned technology as it related to agro-processing. Tell me some of the different jobs that may be available in this agricultural field that many of us may not know. As we said, it's not the typical go to the grounds and
Yes.
host stuff up. So tell me some of the things that we may be missing that you would like to educate us about.
I'll look at being a lawyer. You can be an environmental lawyer. So you can actually fight for policies that helps the environment and that also helps the agriculture sector. You can be a hydroponic expert. You don't actually have to be in the soil. You could just learn the technical aspect of it and just teach somebody. You could be a lecturer along the way. You don't actually have to go out in the field. You could just teach people, this is how you do this is how you read this machine, and you teach them, and you don't have to be out there.
So what you're telling us is you're trying to break the stigma that people think that anything related to agriculture is
It's
just
straight to the soil.
dirty
It's not that.
and
No.
right. So you're saying there are many avenues that are available for young people, and so maybe people should take their focus so much from being doctors, lawyers, and that.
Even if
not
you
that
want to be a doctor or lawyer,
Uh-huh.
you could be a doctor or lawyer within the field of agriculture.
Interesting.
Because there are doctors that basically focus on animal science.
Right.
You have to know what's going on with your animal. I'm sure everybody have a little puppy, a little cat at home, and the vet also could take care of your little puppy and you.
So what I'm getting from you is that people need to recognize that agriculture is much bigger than we are accustomed to or what we...
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. And we now move on to Ambassador number 4, Ms. Sarafina Osborne, whose platform is using the family as a viable tool to reduce crime. Now, Sarafina, do you think, you mentioned a parental training program. What do you mean by this, and how will it assist what you're speaking about in terms of using the family as a viable tool? How would it help eliminate crime?
Okay, so it is my hope to see that families are strengthened, and my Family Matters program will be geared towards parental training, and this is geared towards new parents. So they are educated on the values that we like within our homes, as well as the importance of love and affection and adequate supervision. After they've received all this information, they will truly be stronger parents, and they will be able to form that communication with their child. And then once they have that, they are able to produce stronger individuals for our society.
Now, I recognize that you mentioned new parents. Do you think there are possibilities and change for parents who may have already, for lack of a better term, missed the mark with their children? Do you think there's hope for those?
Yes, I do believe so. I also want to implement a family therapy program, or better known as national counseling, so that it improves the interaction between the existing families, that is the parent and the child, so that parents understand how their children think, and again, just increase the communication between them. It would also help on a community base. As the old adage says, it takes a community to raise a child. And so once we do that on a community level, we find that everyone is more sensitized and that we are able to look out for each other's children as well.
So do you think there's a missing link, especially now in our generation more than ever, between the parents and the child?
That is a very interesting question.
You can give your response on either side.
I'd have to say there's a possible missing link. I just want to stress that we need to strengthen the bond between our children and our parents, so that they have that affection from within the home, that they have those principles that they can rely on when faced with difficult life decisions. They'll know, okay, hey, this is a bad decision, I'll choose another path.
I'm going to ask you a question that I also asked to Ms. Shaniqua Lands. Do you think that the parents of today are too much of friends with their children before their actual parents? What are your thoughts?
I believe that it's important to have a relationship with your children, one that you are open and that you can basically talk with your parents as much as possible. Are we too close of... That's a borderline. I'd have to say we're on the borderline. Yes, it's possible. You know, in some families it's possible, but majority of the time we have to remain that figure. We have to remain friends, but they have to have parents who remain the authoritative figure.
So a thin line between friendship and parenting.
Yes, there is.
All right. And now we move on to Miss Shaniqua Lands, and her platform is Children of Incarcerated National, Coins or Parents. Shaniqua, you mentioned that you don't want the children to be forgotten, and you talked about the partnership that is necessary within the community. What do you think that children of incarcerated nationals need from the community? How can we help them?
Okay, all it takes is simple encouragement, opposed to stereotyping these children by saying, okay, he fed a day at jail, so he'll most likely end up in jail also. Instead of stereotyping these children, we can encourage these children to be a better version than their parents. We can encourage them to want better for themselves, to have a better future for themselves, so that they do not end up go down the same road that the incarcerated parent did. Also, I would say that mentorship program would be necessary for these children, because oftentimes we overlook the psychological effect that having an incarcerated parent can have on a child. For example, some would suffer from depression, some may suffer from concentration in school, some may react via anger, defiance.
Some may be victims of bullying.
Of bullying, exactly. So they'll feel the desire to retaliate towards those who taunt or reject them. So mentorship program will be necessary, absolutely necessary for these children, just to inform them that, okay, you're no less than any other child because you have a parent that is in prison. And we should encourage this child to remain focused in school and pursue whatever studies, and they can be whatever they want to be in life.
And most importantly, remind that child that they are loved.
Exactly.
And I think that's generally where the community comes in at that point. Yes, and you know, I think maybe we have lost that, and I'm happy that you've chosen that platform to kind of give us a reminder that we need to get back to truly caring. I think we've been accused of being fast, as we say here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and sometimes it's really not that. Sometimes we're caring, but sometimes the adults, because of whatever history the adults may have, they overlook the honest and genuine care that the community may have, and they say, don't tell me nothing about my child. And so the problem continues. All right. So thank you so much. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen at home, before we move on to Ambassador 6, we will be accepting your calls shortly, and the number to call will be 466-2666. And we go back to Ambassador number 6, and her platform is Suicide Awareness Prevention. The awareness, rather, of suicide prevention. Now, Ms. McDonald, what you mentioned that in your, based on your you would have done a bit of research. You said we've lost 8 persons between what period?
Between 2009 and 2015. The youngest, I might add, being 15.
Wow.
That would have been in 2013.
Okay. And I think, I honestly can't recall those cases, that many cases, but that, for me, in such a small society, is a very high.
Very much so.
What do you think that the way that we treat people, do you think there's a stereotype as to how much we need to care for people, as we say, wear your emotions on your sleeve? Do you think because everyone, for fear that their business does not get out on the street, everyone keeps everything in, and so that creates some sort of build-up, as people don't want to talk to people about things. They're not sure if Connie is going to talk about my issues. If I tell Sarafina or Teresa something, they're going to chat me, as we say. Do you think all of those elements help to create some of the issues related to suicide?
Definitely. I honestly think that they do. And also, one of the key things, especially in society today, is acceptance. We all want to be accepted. So if I'm depressed, you're not going to accept my depression. So I'm not going to show you that side of me. And that's why I would say that some of the cases are missed, because you walk around and you smile and you're pretty and you're happy, and then you go home and you're sad, you're down, and you really need help. And other than that too, going to a psychiatrist, that is seen as, oh, she has problems, and it is definitely frowned upon in our society. So if the people can know that, hey, yes, you can go to a psychiatrist and you're not going to be bullied, you're not going to be picked on, and it's okay. If you can know that it's okay to get help, it would definitely reduce. It would definitely prevent.
Right,
suicide.
as we want to focus on the prevention more so.
Yes.
Now, ladies, I must tell you that we have a call, and we will welcome our first caller for tonight. Welcome, caller. You are now live. Okay, we are not able to hear that caller. Caller, you are now live on ZIZ. Okay, we will get the technicians to sort everything out, and we will take a very quick break as we fix things. And thank you, caller, for your call. We are not unable at the moment to hear you in studio, but we'll take a short break and we'll come right back and accept more of your calls on tonight's discussion.
The holiday season is a time of increased shopping, and ZIZ wants to help you as a local business attract as many shoppers as you can. We've developed a holiday traffic builder for the small businesses in our community. We want you to benefit from this period of increased shopping and have a great holiday season. Call us at 465-2621 and we'll show you how this holiday traffic builder can help your business. ZIZ Radio, ZIZ Television, Big Wave, and ZIZOnline.com. We make sense for your business. Call us at 465-2621 this holiday season and throughout next year for all of your advertising needs, and we'll show you how radio and ZIZ is best for your business.
Right now, no. Yeah, this is why Desro inviting you to the Sunset Sofa Cruise when on Friday the 24th of November. It's amazing how I feel. I'm indestructible and soca playing in the sheets. I'm a river, follow me. Carnival never be the same. I come here to fit up in guitar. No kind of behavior. One shot of behavior, see.
Right now and so, Barry C, bring your bumper. Make sure you bring your bumper on the 24th of November. We're going on the Soca Cruise, and we're going to be having a blast. Oh.
Early morning, early bird, early jamming, early backlash, early road match releases, early everything. Who got the best fans? 10-time road match champions, Format. Versus 9-time road match champion and Corn road match winner, Grand Masters. Saturday, November 25th from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Airport Bypass Road. Participate, get in the mix at the Early Bird Juve for Sugar Mass 46.
I have to try to take some of my smiling off. The ladies and I, during the breaks, that is probably the side of them that I want you to see most. They're very down to earth, and I urge you to approach them when you see them on the street and say hi and give them a compliment or two. If you have any criticism, make sure you do so in an uplifting way. But we do accept ask you to call in and give your concerns, your questions. If you want to add anything to any of the topics that they would have brought up their platforms this evening. So we're going to go to Belisha quickly before we take this call.
And hi, Daddy.
All right, we have a caller on the line, do we?
Yes. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good evening.
Yeah, good night. This is Bucky got it and Bucky always got it. Want to comment the program, and I want to say good night to you, Popo. You're doing an excellent job, and I know as these ladies is going to have a time of their life because you, as the head, the questions, the interaction is good. You're going in from St. Kitts, six beautiful young ladies, and I just like what you're doing, exposing them, giving them ideas, because we often found that when it comes to the interview segment, ladies always baffling and get shy. So this is a good chance for them to answer questions. Right? I just want to commend the whole Carnival committee for doing a good job, for promoting and advertising. We've heard over the years about not enough promotion, and I'm happy to see that you, along with the committee, are taking the steps to make sure that the girls are properly set and prepared for this year's Sugar Mass pageant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we appreciate the investment that the Carnival Committee has been making within us.
Thank you. And we accept another call. Caller, you're live. Turn your radio down or your television.
Second.
Turn your television down in the back as there's a bit of feedback.
Hello.
Hi, good night. Welcome.
Good night.
Huh?
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Daddy?
I want to talk to Serafina.
You're a real one. Love you.
I love you, okay?
Wait, do y'all have bounty on set? But that's sweet daddy man. I know. All right. And we have another caller. Thank you so much, Dad. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good night. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Good night to you, Popo.
Good night.
I would like to big you up on your good work what you're doing to the Carnival Committee. I would like to big up all those young ladies who are going in. Good luck with the best girl win. Put me money there in a number 4. All the way. Back it 100%, but all of you all are talented. So keep up the good work.
Thank
What you're doing, Popo. Continue doing your good work.
All right.
You need to get honored for independence. National heroes. You is the best, Popo.
What did he say?
You need to get honored for national heroes, because you is the best.
I'm about 30 years away from that, perhaps. But thank you. I do appreciate that. I am just 18, you know. Thank you, though. And we have another call. Caller, you're live. Welcome. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
I'm wishing all the ladies the best. And my money is on Belisha McDonald. Coming from her sister, Maisha.
Love you, boo.
Bye.
Like a chicken.
All right, thank you so much for your input. And we have another caller. Caller, good night. Welcome.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
I just calling from Challenge Observation to wish all the best and all the girls them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't see you, can't hear you. I see you on TV tonight.
That might possibly be because she's been leaving early and coming home late, right?
All right.
And we have another call. Thank you so much, caller. You're live. Welcome. Caller, good night. Welcome.
Hello, good evening. Is Zonique Brown there?
Yes, good evening.
Okay, well, I'm having a hard time. Before I go any further, I must say congratulations to all the ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You ladies are well educated. You know what you're about. You know your platform very well, which is a good thing for you going into the show on that night. But I'm going to have a hard time, Papa, because Zonic is from Sandy Point. I have a friend Sandy Point, so then Shaniqua is my co-worker. I love her very much, so...
Charlene.
All right? Love you guys.
But we can share the crowd. No worries.
Serafina says the crown can be shared. Will you accept that?
We can split it in half.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Charlene. But we take another call. Caller, welcome.
Present, good night.
Good night.
Good night, ladies. You guys are looking so wonderful.
Thank you.
I must say congratulations to all of you guys for taking this opportunity to just display your talents and, you know, do your stuff. But I'm mainly calling for my girl at the back in the middle, Shaniqua. It's Crystal. I'm calling for Liberty, and she will be so happy about this. But congratulations, ladies, and all the best. And all the best to you, Serafina. But, you know, my hat is with Shaniqua. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
All right, and we accept this caller. Good evening. Good evening. You're alive. Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
An adorable one.
They're always shy a bit from the phones. So I don't think we have any more calls at the moment. All right, we do have another call. Caller, welcome. Good night, welcome. Hi, good night. Welcome to ZIZ. Okay, we've lost that call. All right, so while we wait to accept more calls, I'm going to let each of you give me a brief, a wrap-up as to everything that we've discussed tonight, and I'm going to begin with Miss Connie. And again, your platform is promoting Afro-Caribbean culture through... We do have a call? Okay. Caller, welcome.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Good night. Hi. You got my girl Zonique and Miss DS. I'm all backing you guys. All the best on the 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so... Okay, we have another call. The calls are coming in hot and heavy. Good night, caller. Welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Just want to say good night to all the girls. They're all looking so beautiful there tonight.
Thank you.
I want to say a special good night to contestant number 1.
Mommy.
Big up to you, sweetie.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, caller, welcome. Good night.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Very good show. Very good show.
Thank
quite
you.
a bevy of beauties displaying
Thank
considerable intelligence. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
Of course, I am of African heritage, so my money is on the African Queen in the front right. But I think the judges are going to have a major headache that night selecting from that six, because I certainly wouldn't want to be chosen to judge that night. I wouldn't know. I would have great difficulty. But once I'm a betting man, front right, that's the one for me.
Thank you very much. And we have another caller. Caller, good night. Welcome.
Good evening. I just want to congratulate the Carnival Committee on a job well done. I know it's going to be tough, real tough. And to know that the public is knowing the platforms of the young ladies, that night I don't know what the judge is going to do, but I'm glad I'm not one of them. But my contestant number 5 and 6, I just seen them for the first tonight, and I'm going all the way with them. I'm not a person that goes out, but listening tonight, 5 and 6 are mine.
All right. And we go to the next caller. Caller, good night. Welcome. We ask that you turn your radio or television down, as it is creating a bit of feedback. And we say welcome to you once again. Good night. Hi, caller, you're live. Go right ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I'm calling to congratulate the young ladies. They're all beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my bet is really on Belisha. I'm a former banker, Scotia banker, so my bet is really on her. I'm a bit biased. And I also like a lot of African wear, so I'm also supporting the African
Hi,
Queen
Gwyneth.
here.
Hi, Gwyneth.
But I wish all the girls good luck.
Thank you.
for going to the show.
And is it that we have another call? Caller, you're live. Welcome. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Purple, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for asking. Contestant number 7 here.
This is the radio lady, Lulu.
Hi, Lulu. Welcome. Good night.
Yes, I want to wish you all the best in what you're doing there. Congratulations. Congratulations to all the girls.
Thank you.
Number 3, Shaniqua.
Lulu, I'm number 5.
Shaniqua is number 5.
Because them said that crown come in village. Village got everything. Village got everything. So that coming up village. All St. John's and all the village people them gonna be with you.
This is like
all
my
the best to all of you. And I always attend for you. So you all will get my support. Love you, girl. Keep up the
Thank you. And we have 2 callers. Caller, welcome. You are live. Good night.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I'd just like to say congratulations to all the contestants.
Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, they're all winners in their right. And I just want them to go out and just do their best. That's all one can ask for. But I must admit that I am back in Sarafina.
Oh, thank you.
So good night, enjoy, and be the best ambassadors of St. Kitts. Bye.
Thank you so much. And we take another caller. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to wish all the girls the very best.
Thank you.
To Sarafina. Sarafina, your family is behind you all the way.
Thank you, Diana.
We support you 100%, and we are looking for that crown on December 28th.
I'll do my best.
All right, thank you so much. Now, we're going to just take just a few more calls as we have to wrap up. Do we have another call? Caller, welcome. Hi, good night, welcome. You are live.
Say congratulations.
Oh.
Okay, we lost that caller. Okay, do we have any other calls at the moment? If you're trying to get in, feel free to call back. And ladies, how are you feeling so far?
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, we take this call. Caller, good night. You're live.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I want to congratulate the Carnival Committee, especially Purple, and to the young ladies. I was a caller before said the judges have a tough decision to make because all young ladies answer the question so perfect. And it's nice to see the Carnival Committee bring out these young ladies to interview them to the public before they stay on the stage and then at the show. And what I would like to see going forward, if you ever have like the contestants like have a video clip where how they whip out the work, where they eat on a day-to-day basis, how they exercise and what else do you want to say? Oh gosh.
Well, I want to tell you, I know you can't remember your other points, but you have jumped the gun, and we have been working, and the ladies can attest, with the collaboration of True Capo.
Yes.
You have jumped the gun. I don't know if you have insight on our production.
No. That was my idea for 2 years. 2 years ago, I went to Antigua a couple years ago, and I saw something like that.
Yes, well, this has been in the works for some time, but we will tell you that coming up very shortly, we will be giving you an overview into their personal lives, what they do to get prepared for the pageant and so forth.
Right. Okay then.
Yes, thank you so much for your input. We do appreciate you. And I'm going to take about 2 to 3 more calls. Caller, welcome. You are live. Caller, good night. Welcome. You are live. Hi, good night. Caller, go right ahead.
I would like to wish number 5 all the best, and I know Auntie Desi will do a good job.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
All right, do we have any more calls? Okay, it does not look like we have any more calls. So, okay, I guess we do. Caller, good night, welcome.
So, big up the Scotia Bank and all the best, and y'all enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I'll take one more call. Do we have another call? Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
The ladies look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'm just calling for my girl Connie, my co-worker.
Hi.
Farron.
Yeah, you look absolutely beautiful tonight.
Thank you.
And Zonique also.
Hi, Farron.
Yeah,
all right, thank you for your input. Now, do we have another call? Okay, we're going to take some more calls. Caller, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'd like to pick up all the ladies on stage. Beautiful. And I'm not really backing anybody, right? But let's just tell the girls they have training tomorrow. So ladies that work at that Ivy Fitness Center.
What did he say?
We are training tomorrow. Is that your trainer?
Majority of
it. He's saying that you have training tomorrow. So
tomorrow at 5.
At 5. All right, thank you so much for your input. Now, we're going to have to put a break on the... Okay, we're going to take this final call. Caller, go right ahead. Thank you for calling.
Hi, girls. Good evening. I just called to wish you all the best, but my girl is Shaniqua. I'm Elvira.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, so there are 2 issues that we want to touch on just before we wrap up, as we have just about 15 minutes. There is a possibility we may be able to take some more calls, but I really wanted to... So 2 more calls? Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to take I hear a beep, so does that mean it's one more call? Okay, is it still two? Caller, welcome. Good night. You are live. Okay, caller, good night. Welcome. Okay, I think we would have lost that caller. And so I will, okay, go right back into our discussion. Before we started accepting calls, Connie, I'm going to just address this because I know it's out there. And while all the ambassadors would have been fighting public criticisms in some way or the other, I want to make it, you know, it's notable that you, in particular, would have faced some criticism about your size. And just before I let you answer to that, I want to take off my moderator hat for this evening and put on my chairperson's hat and say that when I am choosing these young women, I do not at all take their size or what anyone considers beauty into consideration. I look at their capability to be a national carnival queen and properly represent St. Kitts and Nevis. I do not choose to fit them into a box of what people may think that beauty is, whether you think it is thick, thin, or 6 feet high, or long cascading hair, etc. And I just want to say that if anyone has had a problem with the image of these beautiful young ladies, then perhaps it is time for some introspection as to what you see as beauty. Now, saying that, Connie, you have been chastised about your size. As many may say, well, where's she going? Why is she going down thick hips? Why? What do you have to say to the naysayers as it relates to them having negative comments as it relates to your body image?
Well, what I would like to say is that, let's just take it back. I have been personally body shamed before, as recent as last year. As everyone knows, I am a dancer. And I don't think that a size determines if you can be a dancer or not. Now, to bring it back forward, what I would say is that one of the reasons why I decided to enter into this year's National Carnival Queen pageant is mainly because I know for a fact that there are persons who look like me who have always wanted to enter this pageant. And because of the stigma that is placed on what beauty should look like, it has always discouraged them. So I'm just doing it for persons like myself to no longer feel excluded from the definition of beauty. And that's it within itself.
Okay, and I would want to, thank you. And then I want to jump to Miss McDonald in the back there. For those of you who may not have recognized, because in my opinion, you have to stare at her so hard, but I do know that she too has faced criticism as to possibly not fitting the mold of what we've become accustomed to as it relates to participation in the National Carnival Queen pageant. She has, what would you term it as?
Well, we would call it cross-eyes, but the scientific term is really strabismus.
Right.
That is the term.
And what has been your experience as it relates to just coming up with this condition, and particularly now as an ambassador in the National Carnival Queen pageant?
Well, most people would ask me, do I plan to get them fixed before the show? And my answer is always, I've had them for 24 years, so why would I go and change them now? And as my Aunt Chrissy would always say, is that, sweetie, you're beautiful. God made you that way for a reason,
like
and I honestly believe
stop.
that. Yes.
Exactly. So I just wanted to highlight those two. I'm sure, as I said, all of the other ladies would have faced, maybe your skin complexion is not the right one, or you're not tall enough, you're not short enough, etc. And I just want you, the general public, to help these ladies and all the young women of St. Kitts and Nevis, and do not add to the body shaming and the body issues that they already have. And we go straight to the phone lines and say good evening, caller, welcome. Okay, I'm sorry, we would have lost that caller, and we have another caller on the line. Caller, good night, welcome. All right, so we're having a bit of difficulties with the callers. In the meantime, I will ask each of you ladies to briefly wrap up. What is the one point that you want to leave with our viewers and our listeners this evening as it relates to your particular platforms? And Connie, your platform is promoting Afro-Caribbean culture through dance education. Briefly.
Well, briefly, it is with high hopes that through dance education that persons would develop a great appreciation, love, and passion for the history behind our Afro-Caribbean culture and heritage.
All right, thank you very much. And I move on to Miss Zonique Brown. And your platform is promoting cultural diversity. What is the message that you would like to leave with our listeners and viewers this evening?
I believe that unity is strength. And therefore, it is important that we must unite to stop all marginalization and create a united world, a united region, and a united federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you very much. Well put. And we move on to our ambassador number 3. And Teresa, what do you have to say to the people that you want them to go home with or go to bed with this evening as it relates to youth empowerment through agriculture?
Well, first, I would like to tell our youth that we actually decide our path in life, and we should always take charge of our life. And a second thing is that I think that St. Kitts and Nevis should know that agriculture is a very important sector, and we should value it.
All right, thank you very much. We move on to Ambassador number. I could tell that all of you still have so much more that you would like to say, but we're out of time. What do you say, viewers, a part 2? And we move on to Ambassador number 4, Miss Sarafina Osborne, and her platform is using the family as a valuable tool to reduce crime. And what is the one thing that you want to leave with our viewers and listeners this evening?
Okay. So the family is the nucleus of society, and we have to produce a safe and intimate place that is conducive to the positive development of our children so that they can make meaningful contribution to our society, the world that we leave behind for them. So love them, encourage them, care for them so that they are stronger individuals.
All right, and we go on to Ms. Shaniqua Lands. And Shaniqua, your platform is COINS, which stands for Children of Incarcerated Nationals or Parents. And what is the one message that you want to leave with our viewers and listeners this evening?
Okay, incarceration of a parent is a form of punishment towards that parent. It's also a form of punishment towards the child, and the child didn't commit any sort of criminal activity. Therefore, I am imploring each and every one of you who have the time, effort, resources, and capabilities to help me help empower these children. Thank you.
Okay, and very quickly as a spin-off before we get to Belisha, I didn't think I got that to come out. You're very involved yourself, as you said, your mom would have
two little girls,
right, that is in that same situation. So I want people to know that you are doing your part.
I am.
And you're not just emptily calling
them. Yes, I'm very passionate about my platform.
All right, and we move on to the lovely Miss McDonald, whose platform is the awareness of suicide prevention. That is very correct. Important platform. What is the one thing you want viewers and listeners to go home with?
The message that I would want everyone to get tonight is remove the stigma behind people being depressed, people being stressed. Remove the stigma so that these people are okay with getting help. Once they get the help that they so desired, we would definitely see suicide being prevented.
And as I would add my 5 cents, because they don't make 2 cents anymore, I'll add my 5 cents to that. I really do think that we all live in a bubble where we have to pretend to be happy even though we're not. And if we had a magnifying glass on everyone, we would see that every single person has their struggles and the issues that they're dealing with. Right. Yes. So we are open to taking more calls because I do realize that the phone lines are going wild. Ladies, what have you done? And so I think we have more callers, and so I will wait on the technicians to advise. Yes, welcome and good night.
Hi, good night.
Good evening.
And how are you?
Charlene, hang up. Charlene, hang
Alicia.
up. Yes, mommy.
Alicia.
Mother. Charlene, darling Durux.
Yes,
Mother.
She's hearing you.
Alicia, mommy is very, 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 very much proud of you. And she backing you 100 and 2,050 million times behind you. A rally behind of you, Alicia. And mommy love you.
I love you.
Congratulations. Keep on pushing high, moving high, and keep on walking with your head up higher.
Okay.
Now, mommy, you're giving everybody up here bounty moments, okay? We need tissue. And do we have any more calls? And I must say to the listening public again, as I switch my hats, that these young women, this is not an act. As I've been around them, and my team and I, they truly do care from each other, unless they're great actresses, and I know a thing or two about acting. They really do have a genuine bond, and I really do hope it continues after the pageant. And I want people to realize that this pageant for them and for so many other young women is more than just putting on heels, doing your makeup, dressing nicely, and so forth. There's so many activities that they are involved in. And quickly, I want each of you to tell me what has been, in a few words, your greatest experience so far and your not so great experience so far. So we're going to start from the back with Miss McDonald. And we're going to come quickly, as I know we have, I don't want to call it
so quickly, my greatest experience would be the bond that we have, as you would have just mentioned. I was so surprised going to Nevis, which was our first trip, the way that we were actually fighting. Oh, I want to share room with that one or that one, knowing that it was the first time we actually got together. So I really appreciated that. In terms of downtime, we've had some, but
some else,
as we would call them. Inside joke. But at the end of the day, it's still an amazing experience.
Awesome. Miss Lanz, what has been your greatest?
I can agree with Belisha, where she mentioned that the friendship that we were able to build, it will be everlasting. And even despite the results of the show on December 28th, I am hoping that we can all still keep that bond together. For me, my worst experience would be changing my diet, because anybody who knows me knows that I am a food junkie. So it's very challenging, but it'll be worth it because I'll showcase my body to you on December 28th, so yes.
All right, and Sarafina, what has been your greatest and not so great moment?
I'd have to agree with my other ambassadors. And also, one of my great moments was that I've overcome, well, not fully overcome, but I've sometimes overcome my fear of public speaking.
Ooh.
Yes. And I can't say that I've had any bad moments or any down moments. If we're thinking about it, probably it'd be the eating. I love KFC.
All right, and we go to Ms. Diaz. So what has been your greatest and not so great moment during this journey?
But while I'm here thinking, I would have to agree with the past three ambassadors. That trip to Nevis was awesome. I really did enjoy it. Yeah. And one of my weakest moments, I would think that it would be just getting up so early in the morning and then being on the road all alone.
To get to the gym?
Yes.
And the gym trainer, I'm sure, would have called in if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, and we go to Zonique, Ms. Brown. What has been your greatest quickly and your not so great experience?
Okay, well, this is my greatest experience.
Tonight?
Yes. I usually suffer from stage fright, but now I'm managing my nerves pretty well. I'm so grateful for this forum so that I can present to the public of what I'm advocating. So this is my greatest experience because I am an ambassador and I intend to be an excellent, even more excellent ambassador if I am crowned National Carnival Queen.
Awesome. And Connie, last but not least, what is your greatest and not so great?
I would have to agree with everyone else. The bond that we have all created, it is truly amazing. And my not so great experience would be to change my entire lifestyle just to become a part of this competition.
But you'd all agree that it is all for a positive, correct?
Yes.
All right. I want to thank, it's so much more that the ladies want to talk to you about, but we ask you to follow us if you want to continue following their journey. They have so many activities that they will be a part of. Make sure you follow the SKN Carnival on every social media platform, be it Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or Twitter. We thank you so much for viewing, and we want to thank the sponsors of the individual ladies, and they are the St. Kitts Nevis National Bank, the Carrier Brewery St. Kitts and Nevis, the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, Big Cane Rum, Casper, the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, and the Bank of Nova Scotia. Thank you, the public, for being supportive of these ambassadors, and we do look forward to seeing you at the Sugar Mill on the 28th of December. Good night, and look out for more exciting things from these ambassadors.
Bye.
The IMF warns Barbados will sink deeper into debt without further spending cuts. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, November 23. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. The International Monetary Fund is not convinced Barbados is doing enough to fix its debt problem. And after conducting an Article 4 consultation, which ended on Thursday, the head of that IMF mission is advising the Frundell-Stewart administration to cut its spending further. Judith Gold said the IMF is not optimistic about government meeting its fiscal target as set out in what she describes as an ambitious budget of May 2017. The IMF has forecast that the government was likely to fall short of its overall targets, even with the substantial hike in the National Social Responsibility Levy from 2 to 10%, an introduction of a new sales tax on foreign currency transactions, and a hike in the excise duty on fuel. It also warned that the country's international reserves, which stood well below the 12-week benchmark at just 8.6 weeks of import cover, are likely to dip even further by year-end. Against this backdrop, the IMF advised that substantial further fiscal effort is needed to decisively place the debt on a downward trajectory. The IMF is recommending that government's adjustment strategy focus on addressing the high transfers, containing other current expenditures, and maintaining a strong revenue effort. It also suggested urgent structural reforms to support growth and improve the business climate for domestic and foreign investment. And the fund is willing to help. It says it stands ready to assist the government, including through continued policy dialogue and technical assistance. Staying on the economic front, the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antwine, says Grenada must continue with its fiscal responsibility policies, regardless of which party wins the upcoming general elections. Elections are constitutionally due in Grenada within the first half of next year, and the main political parties have begun oiling their election machinery. Antwine told CMC News he held talks earlier this month with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell and members of his cabinet, as well as the leadership of the main opposition National Democratic Congress on the issue of economic growth and fiscal responsibility.
Whoever wins the next election in Grenada, fiscal responsibility is going to be important. Whoever wins the next election has to get on with the issue of structural reforms. To transform, we have to reform. And the pace of reform needs to pick up with the Caribbean, Grenada included. So those are simple messages. The specifics, obviously, as a central bank, we can advise at the right time. But it is very clear. Grenada has to stay the course in terms of what it has done.
Grenada is emerging from a $19.4 million IMF-supported extended credit facility that was approved in 2014. Antwine said the transparency that has been developed over the life of the homegrown program must continue. He also said there is a need for public sector modernization, and there are specific things the country has to do with respect to the labor market.
Key part of how we address the employment issue, especially amongst our youth, that is a major issue that has to be addressed. How we deal with agriculture is an important issue. How we deal with the question of tourism, medical education, medical tourism, those are areas that must be looked at. Clearly, there are a number of things we have to do with public sector modernization, because that is how you also have to address the issue of growth in the economy. Those are not new issues. I think all the parties know what these issues are.
The Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago says there are no plans to devalue the local currency, but it warns the country will need to maintain the dynamism of its monetary policy to deal with current as well as future domestic and external financial challenges. There have been calls from the private sector, economists and financial experts for Trinidad and Tobago to devalue its dollar in light of the tight foreign exchange situation, as well as the drastic decline in revenue from the energy sector, which has resulted in economic problems for the Twin Island Republic. But CBTT Governor Dr. Alvin Hilaire told a news conference that the country has enough foreign exchange to cover at least 9